About to give an update on the work of the Membership Services Department are Suleiman Konat, who chairs the committee, and Angela Swainston, Membership Services Manager.
Good morning, Conference. Suleiman Konat. I stand as chairman of Membership Services team. First of all, I must say that it's been an honor and a pleasure when the National President asked me to, come in and do what I could on the membership team. I didn't know what I was going into, other than to know that it was just members you need to look after at a time when we were losing a lot of members. I have to say that I'm so happy that the membership figures have started to increase. You heard the National President right at the beginning of this conference who said, if you remember, that last year everybody was tasked to go on and to recruit a member. Sadly, that was not the case. However, that since then there's been an increase of the membership, and hopefully this increase will carry on. The existing members, the database has been thoroughly audited, and the new processes have now been introduced to ensure that the accurate records are there and are there up to date throughout. This is extremely important, as we all know, that this requires a true reflection of our membership at any given time. The administration team have been working tirelessly throughout the year, throughout the last 2 years, signing up members through direct calls from the bid house, which is our new house, through the membership development executives, MDEs, the Connect team, and not forgetting a lot of members out there who've recruited on one-to-one. Membership services managers have been facilitating meetings across the UK, around the districts to ensure that they provide the facilities for the district councils, district executives, both electronically and where possible, face-to-face from, as we go on. They have also started the local meetings with the news wholesalers, as we have heard, almost recently. Due to the pandemic, most meetings have taken place over the Zoom over the last 18 to 24 months, though we are now gradually returning on face-to-face where possible. Conference, it has been fantastic and finally to meet all our fellow retailers, our colleagues and our friends, including the wholesalers when we attend our meetings. Lastly, I would like to say this will be my last NEC meeting or member of NEC. As an NEC member, as a national councillor, as I'm stepping down from my role to focus on additional responsibilities for Blackburn with Darwen, where I'm a deputy mayor, and I look forward to the challenging times ahead of me. I have made this decision after careful consideration and careful thinking of ways ahead. I feel the time is right to move on. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time as an NEC, which took me right up to the president, becoming a national president, and national councillor, and through my district getting there, and feel positive changes have been made within the Federation over the years, and long may this continue. I have no doubt in my mind that the current team we have in place, the Federation will continue to succeed and prosper. I know you will overcome the obstacles and the challenges which we have. We have challenges in our businesses day to day and throughout. I have no doubt in my mind that we'll succeed in those challenges. As your values are, there is no substitute for hard work in life. Conference, we have been blessed to have members amongst us, unlike yourselves, who have always put the interest of Federation and our members first. I would like to thank the Federation and its members for placing the trust in me over all these years, for giving me the opportunity to work with some amazing people over the years. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, experience, and most importantly, the wonderful memories. This is not a goodbye from me, by the way. More like see you soon. You have my number where I may be contacted at any time because we're all family member of NFRN or the Fed, whichever you want to call it. I wish you all individually and the Federation a whole bright future and prosperous. So I go back to where I started. If I may now introduce Angela Swainton, who has been the rock solid for membership services. Without Angela, I don't think we'd have achieved so much, there. Remember, over the history of NFRN, there has not been a national president, including myself, who have stood in front of you and said, let alone increase of membership, but to have their membership stay as it was when he or she took over. There's never been one. I don't recall one. So it's a big thank you to all our staff. But then the difficulties and the challenges, like I've said, have been there, but they've overcome that, all that. And it can only be that Angela, she has excelled in a fast lane, with the team. So I'll now pass on to Angela. Thank you.
Good morning, Annual Conference, National President. I'm just going to go through a few slides with you, and then if you've got any questions, please ask them at the end. So the apologies. So the team at the moment we have is Bernie and Gwen. It's Gwen's birthday today. I'm sure you've seen them all running around. Thanks for all your help. And we've got Alison, Rachel, Daniel and Liz. Do you want to stand up so everyone can see you? This is the admin team, who's been working very hard. So the MSM team role at the moment is what we want to do is work together, nurture all the newly elected officials from branch to district level and facilitate and organise meetings and provide an administrative function for all. So we're here to facilitate what you need. That's our role on a day-to-day basis. So far, since 2019, we've provided administration and phone support during the pandemic, facilitated video conference function for all meetings at branch and district level, and from October 2020 commenced video conferencing meetings for district councils and district executives. From December 2020 to March 21, we facilitated branch AGMs across all the districts, and all of the 14 AGMs were facilitated via video conferencing. July 21, live meetings commenced in 9 districts. 5 districts remained on video conferencing. Live conference agreed from July 2021. And we facilitated 14 prelim and 14 pre-conference meetings and also organised conference for you all. After the annual conference, what we're looking to do is to work together. We're going to plan for 2022 with the newly elected district officials, plan productive business meetings, schedule AGMs, nurture newly elected officials, district president and district vice president workshop to be held at Bede House, so we look forward to seeing you there, and with the MSMs and the SOC to ensure a smooth running of annual conference next year. Is there any questions on that? Oh, sorry, Stuart. So at the moment, the membership figures are 10,458, and you can see the breakdown on the screen there. So far this year, we've recruited 898 new members, and we've lost 843. So at the moment, we're up 55, which is amazing, and the reasons are on there for why we've lost those people. And this is just a breakdown of what's basically on there. That's the end of my presentation.
Okay. Conference, can I say this is Angela's first presentation to annual conference.
Thank you.
And like most people who go to that rostrum for the very first time, it's a daunting experience, as we've all experienced. And I'm sure everybody in this room remembers the first time, or indeed the ones who have been up the first time. You even forget what name you are, let alone anything else. So well done, Angela.
Thank you.
Okay, questions. Is there any questions for the team? No questions? Nobody wants to ask a question about the membership growth? No? just prompting anybody? No? Nothing at all, just... No, Abdul, thank you. I think just up there, please. Okay, go on, Martin.
Martin Ward, trustee. Angela, brilliant. 55 growth. The amount we've recruited. Which area is the area that? What I'm getting at. I know the answer to the question. I'm trying to answer the question too. It's the first time ever that we've got people ringing up and asking to be members of this organisation.
Absolutely.
That's what I wanted to get across. It's absolutely fantastic. People actually want to be part of us now. And this is all to do with what's been put on by these members of staff. It's never happened as long as I've known, maybe one or two, but we were getting... So how many a month were we getting people ringing up at the height?
I would say... A month, did you say, or a week?
A month. Or a week.
I would say at least 10 a month, which is 100% increase on what it was, because no one ever rang to say, can I join your organisation? And it's been amazing to be on the receiving end of that, you know, calls, people coming in. You know, any member of staff can sign someone up. It doesn't have to be an MDE. It can be anyone. Especially member to member, you know, we can do that over the phone. That's the best way forward, and it's been a massive improvement, and we're so pleased. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's all I want to know. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Abdul Qadir, Scotland. There's been a huge activity surrounding the Booker vouchers and people on social media commenting and other things and showing interests. And one of the easiest way was just to sort of tag in your MDM, and they were able to sort of they could engage with that retailer, and hopefully, you know, that is the way forward of passing on leads to our staff, because we can't, you know, chase people, but if you get an inkling that someone's thinking of joining the Federation or is interested, you know, point it to our staff and they'll take care of the business. And on the other front, in Scotland, we're hoping to sort of set up hubs, because we've got no branches, and hopefully through the hubs we can engage with retailers, members and non-members, attract them to these events, and also with the business development teams help get Booker and other partners involved, so that there is so that people can feel that there's activity going on.
Yes.
Because, you know, the pandemic's been terrible, and you know, people do need to see each other face to face, and especially over a hot curry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Abdul.
Next speaker.
Well done, everybody, keeping the Federation going, by the way. Going back to one of the slides, I think it was 368 lapsed payments. Do we know what sort of percentage of these people who might be in financial trouble that we might be able to identify and sort of then further them to then carry on, you know, to retain them as a member? Because, you know, a lot of people out there with the pandemic especially haven't had such a big income coming in, and, you know, £5.95 might be a saving that they don't realise the benefit outweighs, you know, everything else. So, you know, can you just give us a little bit of background?
So basically what we do, if someone, we every week send out to all the district presidents and almoners who are due to lapse, to see if they can retain those people, and also they receive calls. They also receive 3 letters in the process and an email, and it's all noted on the account. And sometimes the people just aren't in the shops anymore. The majority of people there's maybe been a change of ownership at the shop, or the account's closed, or they're no longer selling news. And that information, with the MDAs, as I say, the district presidents and the staff do try and contact these people.
if they no longer sell news, they can still be a member. Do
They can,
realise?
yeah, absolutely. So we explain that to them. I know Emma in fees, I hear, she sits next to me, she rings people all the time and she'll say, oh, and they'll say, do you not sell news anymore? And they'll say, no, we don't. She said, do you realise you can still be a member? Emma Road does a lot of work with that. And a lot of people just say, oh, I didn't realise that. So I think we need...
Now everybody's getting back, though, to work on the road.
Yeah.
Do you think that will help you maybe visit these people and actually get to the grips with what's going on?
Absolutely.
That is the biggest percentage of the loss
Yeah.
bill. And if we could just retain, you know, a percentage of that, that would...
Absolutely, and I agree with you, Julia.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, thank you.
Next question.
Good morning, Sassy Patel, Bury and Rochdale, Presidents and Conference. Angela and Sully, I think you've done a fantastic job in the last year or so in terms of growing the membership. But if I'm thinking with my business head and we do the cost of servicing a net growth of 55, and I spoke to a lot of the BDMs, which are wonderful guys that you've got, the actual cost of acquiring 55 members does not justify even one of the salaries. And I think most businesses tend to go down the route of acquisition, and I think the key here is retention. So all our old members that have been leaving for whatever reason, if we can stop them going and you carry on doing the fantastic work you've done the last 12 months, in 12 months' time, the net number should be 400 or 500. That's when we're saying that these guys are justifying their own salaries. So what's your plan to increase the retention number? Because a net growth of 55 is still nothing of nothing equals nothing.
So can I...
Well,
sorry, Angela. Right. So, Sash, that's actually not for membership services. So membership services does the administration work. The question you're asking is actually the number is not 55. This is what I keep trying to get across to conference, and hopefully conference has got this picture. In this position today, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we would have lost virtually about 800, 900 members, not gained anybody, we would have lost them. Our figure today would have been 9,500. What we've actually done is with the net gain of the 55, it's more than that actually, but the net gain from 10,375 to 10,458 today is actually including all those that we would have lost and have lost, but we've refilled that pocket as well. So actually, the MDEs are actually, as you've already been told yesterday, I think, that the MDEs have recruited more people into this organisation for the short period of time that they were working, more than the RDMs did in a whole year working in 2019 when we had 16 of them. And the MDEs going out has got nothing to do with Angela, it's to do with field. And so you've got to get in your head that you may look at that number and think that net gain of 60, 70 people doesn't seem a lot. But actually, it's also the losses that you have to take into account that happen. And we can't stop people when they close their business down completely. You've lost that member, as it says quite clearly there. The 368 that have stopped paying the fees, some of those are people who are on direct debit. And that's the problem that we have, and so we have to chase them up to start paying by direct debit. But let's get in our head conference. Does everybody understand this? This number is not that small number that everybody's looking at the increase. It's also taking into account the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of members that we've lost year in and year out. As I said, when I started, it was 32,000. I'm sure wherever Ron is, when Ron started, Ron Rushbrook, I'm sure it was even more than that, £46,000, at 46,000 members, 42, whatever it might be. But all we've ever done for years and years and years is this federation has been in decline, and we're managing a declining business. We aren't doing that anymore. We are managing increase, and this is where you've got to come from, Sash. I hope that explains it better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Steve Archer from West Midlands. I want to reiterate what Martin said. It's a team effort and it's fantastic, and I wanted to make sure publicly, you know, it's recognised. We've sat in NEC meetings 18 months ago, and you know, because I did it every time, you would say we've recruited one and we've lost three. members. We've recruited, then it got better, we were recruiting 2, and we were still only losing 3, and we've been there, and there is real growth there now, and I think, you know, you are to be congratulated. My like-minded colleague, Julia, who just got up before me, I thought, well, I'd better stay. But what I wanted to give anybody the opportunity to say is, how can we, just the grassroots members, the ones in the branches that are out there, and we know our members and we know our communities and shops, how can we help perhaps try and retain some of these people that we do lose?
Okay.
Well,
sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, as I mentioned previously, all the people who are resigning are sent to your district president and your district almoners. So if you want to be included on that, to be more involved, absolutely, that's no problem. I can get that sent to you as well, Steve.
Please do.
I think, Steve, also, I think what's really important is that some people in this room say, yes, we want to help, we want to help to recruit these people. And unfortunately, if we look at the statistics of all the information we send out to each member, we get very, very few tractions on that. So there is a process. There's just so everybody knows, there's an 8-week process. So when you start this journey of deciding that you want to leave this organisation, there's very few people write into the organisation and say, I want to leave the organisation. But on an average week, we probably have about 14 people. That's the average week. So let me take you back, because I think it's really important you understand this. When we first got involved in this, the membership number was really high, because what was happening is we had members that were lapsed members for all these reasons here, that had been on this sheet, been in our membership figure for years. So we'd got members that had closed the business, stopped paying the fees, 52, 36 months, and we've never been in contact with them and we've never done anything about it. But there was a reason why that number was there. And I hate to talk about the regime before, but that's the reason why, because he didn't want to lose those figures. We went in and cleansed it. Yeah. We took every single person off the system that was old, and we went to exactly what it says in the rule book, which is 8 weeks. And then we started the process on that 8-week process. So the process is we ring them, we contact them, we send them a letter, we try and do our best, and when it gets to nearly the end of the 8th week, we then send it out to all the districts and we say, can you get in contact with them? But let me tell you, after the 8 weeks, if we haven't been successful in getting that member signed back up, we lose that member. We don't keep that member. Because if we kept that member, I could sit here in front of you today and I would say to you, our membership has grown to 11,750. And that would be lying to you and not being open and transparent, as I've always have been, as much as I possibly can. So that's the reason why we do exactly what we do, but there's an 8-week cycle. But please, if you want to get involved in that, that's fine. But make sure that you do. Because every district will gain by this. Because every district, as you know, the membership numbers have grown in different areas. But the MDs are doing an amazing job. The admin team is doing an amazing job because, as Angela's just alluded, everybody is recruiting everybody. There is nobody in this business that can't recruit anybody. But please, make sure if you're going to take this commitment on that you deal with it and do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question.
Via Sharma, South Wales District, Wales District, South Wales Branch. Mr. President, Council, can I ask your indulgence, Mr. President? I just want to say a personal thank you to a wonderful gentleman, Solly Connaught, for the wonderful service he has given to the Federation and the personal friendship to me that he has always shown. Thank you, Solly. We'll miss you. Mr. President, I've got a question, and the question is this to Angela. What would you say were the 2 important services, for example, that you sold to the member, if I can use the word sold to the member, the potential member? What services do you offer to them that induced them to come to the Federation? Was it to get access to the hairstylist of our president? Or the wonderful person that groomed the beard of Mr. Connaught?
So on your seats when you came in yesterday, there's the recruitment sheet, which we made at the request of district presidents and almoners, which is a recruiting tool, and it has a basic list of what we can offer. I don't work in Connect, but I would say the legal line is very useful, and the vouchers are an excellent selling tool. And I think we need, after discussions with delegates, we need to, especially Ravi, is just to, let people know about the benefits that are available to them, such as the hardship fund, bereavement benefit. I think these are all selling twos. It's not an income replacement, but if you're poorly, obviously we can help with that, because I work in the benefits as well. But I think members, to me, are the best people to sell, because you've been doing it for years, and you're the best people to sell it to other people in passing on your experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next speaker.
Ravi Ravindran, London District. I take this opportunity to thank Angela. During my COVID period, and entire family went through the COVID. She was very wonderful, and every time when we want to get some information about membership, always we got all of those information. I feel this is the right moment to give that credit to Angela and his team. The one question I would like to ask, now you clean up the database, we are going towards electronic communication, and we want to bring everyone inclusive in actively taking part or receiving information through electronically. If the database got 100% of their email addresses, that's the only thing that I would like to know, because I noticed that a lot of people do not have their email addresses in the database.
So, as the rule says, if you've got an email address, we send you the information by email. But when we get the new CRM system in, and also there were sheets on all of your desks where you can update your information with email addresses, and we'll be actively going through, bounce backs from emails, now that we have some more staff on the admin team to update those details. If you don't have an email address, you would receive a hard copy, but we're actively trying to ring members as well. But if anyone wants to update any information, they can do that. They can ring admin, just ring the Connect number, or we will, as I said, when the new system comes in, you will have your own portal landing page where you can update your own information as well. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, can everybody make sure before you leave conference today that you stick your mobile phone number down, your district and your name, so and give it to Anne. I think there should be a sheet of paper going out that's actually got these details on. Please make sure you fill them out perfectly there. So make sure you fill those out before you leave conference and give them to. So we've got direct contact here, because one of the problems that our Connect team has is that when we ring up, nearly 70% of our members do not answer the phone, which I find bizarre, because there could be somebody ringing up to say, "I got my paper." But anyway, so please make sure you fill that form out if you can, please. Thank you. Next question.
Hi, Colby Sakon, District Delegate for the West Midlands. Morning, Angela.
Good morning.
These are exciting times.
It is.
30 years of active members, first time I've ever seen an increase in membership. I'd like to know, would you have any data on what specifically got new people? And I'm not talking about news agents or even shopkeepers, I'm talking about even...
Yes, sorry, it's not really... Angela only administrates...
No, I'm just asking for any data. Is there
that question really should be for Field. I mean, I can answer it, but to be truthful, it would be good. Is Phil, where's Phil Jaggard? Phil, can you come to the rostrum? Because some of these questions are directed... we've got to, admin looks after the administration once the member is signed up. Andrew is not really involved in the reasons why members are joining, apart from when they ring up her department. But Phil Jaggard is really...
The reason I'm asking...
Phil Jaggard is actually on the floor. So let Phil come to this rostrum over here, please, and he'll answer that question for you. Just give him 2 seconds. Did you hear the question, Phil? Okay, so the question is, Is there any specific reasons or a list of reasons as to why members are joining the organisation?
Yeah, there's an awful lot, and obviously every business is different and there'll be different reasons, but I think a lot of it's down to the deals and the offers now that we can attract new members. There's, you know, the Barclaycard deal, the Booker's deals, etc., but every business has a different reason they want to join us. So there's not one glove fits all.
I mean, I know tea shop owner and I know motor mechanic who I'd love to speak to, but I don't want to scare them off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as we go through the next stages of today, there's some things we need to talk about, and you'll see it in the 5-year plan about how do we start having these conversations in a better way. But where we are today, set up for success with the normal CTN, the C-stores, etc., and the smaller tea shops. I think we recruited a dog grooming parlour. You know, so it's a start and a step in the right direction, but there's so much opportunity still.
So for that particular dog parlour, what was the? Do you have any information what actually got that person to be a member?
It was the cracking deals. It was a Barclaycard deal, and the things like that they wanted.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Which stay? Yeah.
Good morning, conference, Mr. President, Angela, Solly. Fantastic achievement there. Look, I don't understand why we have to confuse. You know, sometimes I think we should rename ourselves Confused.com too. We have a fantastic achievement up there, 55 new members. Let's celebrate it. First thing. Second, you know, we come up and we say to these guys, what else are you going to do about it? Well, here's the question, conference. What are we going to do about it? I'll tell you what we should be doing. We should be supporting these guys. Scotland, we go to the radio station, I speak in Punjabi. Okay, I don't want to boast about this, but you know, today I have a right to brag and boast for the simple reason that we have been allocated an hour slot every 3 weeks to go in and speak to our members in Punjabi, in Gujarati, in Hindi, in English, to tell them what we do as a federation. That is what we're achieving. Now, we may not recruit members from it, but I tell you what does happen is that when I go to the cash and carry or cash and carries, the members speak to me and say, you know, we didn't know you were doing all that stuff. So these guys that were wanting to leave are now retained. I'm not going to ring up the top table. I'm not going to ring up Solly. I'm not going to ring up Angela and say, you know what, I've retained 6 people. Where's the evidence? It's only me that needs to know. It's only my district that needs to know. We've retained these members, and that's the bottom line. So let's not criticize them for what they've achieved. That may sound too strong, conference, but look, we come up, we say, what else are you doing? It's a wrong thing to be saying. Celebrate what we've achieved. Let's support them, like Scotland is doing. Conference.
Next speaker.
Good morning, conference. Salma Patel, East Lancs Branch, North West District. Good morning, President, as well. Recruitment, sort of things that have helped with recruitment, because I've been out on the field and I've done it myself. I've not done it for any other reason than being a member myself and seeing exactly what is to gain. I think the type of things that has helped has been the hardship funds and the Booker's vouchers. That really, really does help. I mean, there are so many people that are struggling out there, whether it's financially or whether it's to do with the health, with COVID, etc. But go in there, talk to them. When you see the people in the cash and carries, speak to them and tell them exactly what sort of support they can get by being a member of this organisation, and it is helping everyone else that could be in the same position. So well done, team, and long may it continue.
Thank you.
Next speaker, hopefully it'll be about membership services.
Morning, conference. President, MSM's membership services. Just like to say what a great job you're doing at head office and recruiting all these members. You've got Booker vouchers and the Barclaycard deal. Is there anything further coming up in the pipeline? Do we know?
Again, that's not really for membership services, but that would be down to Adrian. Adrian, are you not the other Adrian? Adrian Page, are you where are you?
It's just
Adrian, do you want to come to the rostrum, please? You know, while it's coming up, what I'm really interested in on business development is where 50% of our membership use the book of vouchers at some point, whether they did whole books and I've had extraordinary stories of people using whole books, and I've had extraordinary stories of people just using a few. But I often wonder why 50% of our membership doesn't use the book of vouchers, because in those book of vouchers there's elements of it that is completely free. You just have to register with bookers. So that's an interesting thought. Did you get the question?
I was doing something
Okay,
else. Sorry.
would you like to repeat
Apologies.
the question?
Regards incentives and what new members or current members are getting, local vouchers, Barclaycard deal, is there any other deals coming up in the pipeline?
Yeah, watch this space. Morning conference. Yeah, I've been in role 3 months. I've come in to do a full overview and overhaul of what the business development team are doing and how we move it forward. The recent acquisition of Savewell will really help transition that move and add some real value. So as we move through the back end of this year and into next, then there'll be plenty of deals coming. Don't you worry about that.
Brilliant. And just to finish off, a great thank you to Solomon for acting and helping our district nurture, and wish him all the best. Thanks, Ollie.
Next speaker.
Trudy Davis, West Midlands. It's a comment rather than a question. You asked the question, why are people aren't using the whole books of the vouchers and things like that? In my case, I don't know about the conference, but it was the fact of lack of empty shelves on the bookers. The stock wasn't there, or when I went to go and fetch them, the actual stock for the vouchers wasn't in stock, or they'd already gone, so I couldn't use half. But excellent, brilliant vouchers, but I just couldn't get the stock. So.
Okay, Aidy.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Unfortunately, stock issues are a challenge across the whole industry and have been for some time. What I would advise all members to do is when vouchers come out, try and cash them in as soon as possible, because if you leave it till the last few days with promotion activity, you know what it's going to be like.
Okay, and what I would say, we recognise that issue about stock availability with bookers. We've got that, and bookers also recognise that. And as you know, in the world, there's a shortage of all sorts. So that's why the book of vouchers that were due in October are going to be delayed until the new year, because we've all recognised that whilst we want to put this promotion on again, and we're sorting it now, it's currently under production, we've got to make sure that when we produce those vouchers, as rightly said, that the stock is available in the depots up and down this country, and that's been one of the major problems. It was starting okay, and then it ended up not so great, but still, £1.8 million worth of vouchers. It's a phenomenal amount of money when you consider the membership. £1.8 million went into members' tills. And so that is, I mean, how many people in this room actually redeemed those vouchers?
Oh, yeah, indeed.
Okay. How many people in the room didn't redeem those vouchers? Okay. May I ask a question then? So could you tell conference why you didn't? Stock, so purely stock. So you went in your depot every single time. Okay, so what I'd say to you on this one is that if you have an issue with stock availability in your depot, ring through to the Connect Centre, the 0800 121 6376 number, and report it, and they will sort it for you, and they will respond to you, and the bookers will deal with it as well. So please make sure you do that. Okay, next question.
Sorry, it was just going back to what you said earlier. I don't think this is for Angela, but I thought while Phil and them were up there, what are we going to do about recruiting, instead of just relying on bookers all the time? We had NISA presenting this year, which was good to see, something new. Is there any idea that we can get in with them and ask them to do a voucher and like play one against the other? Because
I know, we're back on business development here. Did you not do your presentation? But anyway, Ada, do you want to come to the stage? The question is... Okay.
Hello, conference again. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Right, basically, we've known about bookers, availability, etc. And that's been the case for many years now. It's not just these strikes, the smaller branches especially. We had NISA presenting at our conference this year. Is there any ideas that we can get them on board and see that if they'll do a voucher deal and then play one against the other? You know, who wants our business the best?
It's a slightly different business model. You have to be a member of NISA. I'm sure with our relationship with them, if that was the route you wanted to take, then you could join the NISA family as well. Nothing stopping you doing that. But with regards to looking at other wholesalers, if that's something that there's an appetite for, you know, within the floor, then absolutely we can do it. You know, the opportunities are there.
Okay.
Hey, thank you. Next question. Hopefully about membership services.
Not at all. Rajesh Patel, Lewisham and Woolwich Branch, London District. Right, this is regarding vouchers, Booker's vouchers. Right now, we talked about £1.8 million. Can you clarify the number or the figure? How much of that amount has gone to the Booker Premier customers? No, right, because the figure we're talking about, it is reflects on Booker Premier customer, because they get the vouchers.
No. Let's get to it. I'm talking about £1.8 million worth of vouchers just for the NFRN vouchers. NFRN vouchers only.
So
there were several books went out for different groups. So if you were family shopper, you got a set of books. If you were Premier, you got a set of books.
Absolutely.
Each one. If you remember the time before, our vouchers went out after the Premier shop vouchers went out. This time, our vouchers went out first. So we got them first. So people could still use multiple books. They didn't have one set of vouchers, that was it. If you had £750 worth of vouchers, you didn't then not be able to use any more vouchers. In fact, when you sent a picture, in which many of you did, of the stock in the back of your cars, we then sent you a further set of vouchers. And you were able to redeem those vouchers. So we don't know what the other groups do, but what we can tell you is, because we've got it from the MD of the company, is that our redemption figure is in line or slightly higher than some of the other buying groups, i.e. Premier or Family Shopper, but one of them was higher than us because that's what they do.
Thanks for clarifying that. So that's one thing I can take it that as, you know, that is a fact figures that, you know, we have redeemed those vouchers. Now coming back to the stock availability, I use the Croydon branch. Croydon branch is specifically focused on catering business. Many times I go there to buy even a regular item like Lucozade Sports or Lucozade Orange Original. They don't have that in stock. I went there with the vouchers, book of vouchers, to redeem the vouchers for those specific items. They were not on the shelf. And the items were on the shelf there, they were not related to the offers. Now, there were issues regarding the items available there, which were like linked to the one item to the another. When you buy two items, you got one free or 50p off or whatever it was. Those items were missing. One was missing, one was there. So it's not that just, we understand, like AU vodka, right? I mean,
what is exactly your question?
My question is stock availability. There's not my question here. What I'm saying is the availability issue with the Booker is the biggest problem there. My question is, I spoke to the guys there at the Booker that when I present this issue to them, that they says that we are not aware of this.
Okay.
So my question is that we need to, why we do not go back to the Booker and say, look, what are the issues in which branch of the Croydon cash and carry where the stock issues are?
I think that's something we probably need to take up offline, and absolutely we can do that. But what we need to do is do it in real time. There's no point in talking about stock issues that are historic. If you can come to me and say we've got stock problems at this branch now, then we can speak to Booker and find out why.
I raised this at our London District branch meeting when Stuart was there as well.
Yeah, so listen, as I said, we have a regular contact with the MD of Booker's every couple of weeks. I have a phone call with him, and we talk about the issues. And so when you ring that number, the 0800 121 6376, and you report it, then we report that directly to them. And they want that information because they want to deal with it straight away.
Of course.
I don't know where you were yesterday, everybody, because it seems to me as though this has turned into a business development talk and not actually membership services. So if the next speaker is talking about business development, can I suggest what you do is take it offline and speak to the guys at the back of the room, unless it's specifically about membership services, please. This presentation is about membership services.
No, I came here
I've got
because
it
came up to the point where it was the stock issues were discussed regarding this matter.
I've got
That's
it.
the reason I came.
Yeah, that's fine.
What I'm saying is...
AD will talk to you at the back of the room.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hi, Donga Dudden, Wales District. Could you please tell me what type of membership we are signing up, i.e. full members opposed to affiliate, and also how many of those are newsagents and how many are non-news agents?
Not immediately now, sorry. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I can certainly find out for you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll come back to you, Donna.
Next speaker.
Hi, Sassi Patel, Rochdale and Berry Branch, President Conference. Angela, do you think when we were talking about the name change yesterday would help your team, because we're sort of attracting a wider base of retail customers now? Do you think that would have a compounding impact in terms of bringing new people on board?
I absolutely...
Okay, sorry, again. Oh, this is administration. That team doesn't sell the federation. They deal with when an MDE or anybody comes in and they sign a member up. This team here deal with all the paperwork for it. So that question actually is for Adrian Page. Sorry, Phil.
I'm sorry for the
Phil,
confusion. Just because the slides were talking about the membership, so...
No.
Breakdown so you can see.
Do we know everybody knows the difference, don't we, between the membership services.
Well, clearly they don't, because a lot of people have made the same mistake, Stuart, with respect.
I get it, yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Sassi, can you repeat that for me?
Basically, my question was, with the name change proposal that was put forward yesterday, would that help member services, Phil's team, bring new people on board?
Yes, I think it will.
And then, sorry, not Angela, probably for yourself, Phil, whilst you're there. Rough numbers, 10,000 members, £750 worth of vouchers, £7.8 million of free money was given to members, 1.8 was redeemed. That's a 22% uptake. What do you think we could do to get that gap smaller? 80% of the people didn't take £6 million worth of funds. I don't get it if it's free money.
Okay, so that's a question again for Phil. Well, you're going into the team, so I guess that's the question, isn't it?
I think it's something we can take away and think about. It's something we can do better of. Maybe it's communication, maybe it's the team's doing, but we saw an uplift in members wanting to join with those vouchers. And I think that was the key message.
I think personally, not that I know much about this, but my experience, the initiative from you guys was absolutely on point. The fact that you did and got it on the table and got it over the line was on point. I think majority of the people, if you put your voting on the screen, would agree the problem was the stock. We did go and try to get the stock, and I have a great relationship with my branches, but physically that stock wasn't there. And call me cynical, the very next day after these vouchers expired, I made a point of going in, and I'd say 60% of them lines were then on the shelf.
Yeah, so, right, the first book of promotion we did, 35% of our membership redeemed a voucher. At least one of those vouchers, if not all of them, but 35% had the books, went into Bookers and redeemed one. Our target this time was to increase that. What this has done this time with the 1.8 million is actually 50% of our membership. That's why I asked the question earlier, was how many people have redeemed it? We got a massive show of hands. I didn't ask the supplement question about how many people have redeemed multiple vouchers, because that would be interesting. But more importantly, I was interested in the ones that don't, because on the Booker calls now, we're focusing on our membership. We've just done a data share with them, so we can identify our members individually who have redeemed those vouchers, but more importantly, we can do an exercise to find out about the members that haven't redeemed those vouchers and to why. Some of the reasons why people don't redeem the vouchers is because they can't. Because if you're tied into a supplier that wants you to do 90–95% of your product, you can't then do that. There are some people that don't stock those products and don't want to stock those products. We've also got some in our database that are life members that don't even have a shop, but we're still sending them the vouchers. Now they can either pass them on, or it's very difficult for them to use them, I guess, unless they set up a shop in the front room. I'm not sure. Maybe that's an enterprise business. But what's really important is those members that don't. The stock issue is a massive issue, but around the country we had a programme to deal with it if you reported it, and also we've delayed the next set of vouchers to accommodate exactly what that problem is. And so those next vouchers will not be hitting your stores until the earliest January, if not February, depending on what happens to the market with transport and fuel. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
This is to Stuart, actually. Stuart, Devendra, London District. I had two books. One book was from NFRN and one book was Booker. The difference was only the color of it, nothing else, just the color of the file. So I had a choice of using two books. The point is the stock level. Because of that two books I have to use, you can't get the full percentage of how many books you use, of NFRN books we use, because it becomes 200% of those books.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Everybody's aware of the stock levels, and we've all, me included, we all experienced when you went into the store. And one of the issues we had is that some managers dealt with it differently. Some managers said, you know what, you haven't got the free stock, so take two of the other stock that you've got. Lipton's tea, whatever it might be. You know, there was different Lipton's tea, remember?
Yeah,
and it wasn't available, so they just take another one.
But why can't you change those times?
I had some members that told me that the managers literally just said, fine, we'll just take the vouchers.
Yeah, I can understand that, but why can't you have those dates on those books separately to the other Booker books dates?
Because this initiative, you can imagine this initiative to do a Booker promotion like this, takes a lot of collaboration between the NFRN, Bookers and the suppliers. Mm-hmm. Bookers don't pay for this stock. This is what the suppliers pay for the stock. So we have to negotiate with the suppliers, we have to negotiate with Bookers to make sure that we're in that fray. Well, that Bookers, it takes months and months, it doesn't take weeks. And it's not like we'll do it on a Monday and it's done by Friday. We've been in talks and negotiating this now for probably four months.
But the thing
takes, just let me finish, it takes a huge amount of time. So they can't do Booker vouchers just for the NFRN. It's for the whole estate of Bookers.
The Bookers.
That's what they have to, that's because that's the best way of dealing with it. Now, we put them in the Fed originally, and it didn't work.
No.
We've put them separately, which is a cost to us, but actually Bookers have shared that cost with us. So actually the cost of posting it out to you guys is borne by Bookers and the NFRN. And that's, I think, the reason why you had them separately in an envelope, and that's the reason why they were redeemed. We know about the stock levels, honestly, but also importantly, we cannot have exclusive just for the NFRN, because Bookers are a massive company and they have to do it across the estate. Thank you.
But the reason being is if we are using two books, so we got the option to go to cash and carry, either use NFRN book or use the Booker book.
No, that's incorrect. That's absolutely incorrect. If you've got two books...
We have two books.
If you've got two books, you can use both books.
Yeah, we can, but we have the options. So we might as well use the Booker one if they haven't got the stock on the NFRN one. So we
It's
got
the
double
same
stock.
stock. It's exactly the same stock. It's slightly different on Family Shopper, but the stock on your Premier and the stock on the NFRN is exactly the same. You can use both books. When the water, the free water, let's take that as an example, was in the Premier book, it was in the NFRN book. You can go in there and get 2 cases of free water, 2 cases of free water, no problem whatsoever, by using both books.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I apologise, Holly and Angela, because I'm just going to go back and answer one of the questions about these vouchers. It's a glass half full mentality sometimes in this conference, and the glass half full mentality is that we've used some vouchers, there was missing stock in other vouchers and everything else. This missing stock, this shortages is in every group. We're talking about Spar, NISA, every one of them suffering from the same thing. A bit of history. The vouchers started off in Scotland. We were originally going to have £50 of vouchers when we spoke to Booker about. Then it was done with the full federation. Now, those vouchers are in collaboration, like Stuart said, with the suppliers. So it's not in Booker's interests to withhold stock, because then they would be losing that sale as well, because the suppliers, the manufacturers, are the ones that are paying towards that stock as well. So that part of it is, and what happens is that the stock that's missing has arrived after, because of the circle of the supply when it's coming into the depot more than anything else. That's why Stuart, I think, urged everyone to use the vouchers near the start rather than near the end, because they got to get replenished. So I would always urge everyone that rather than think of the negative, think of the positive, think of the stock you have got in and the amount of money that's been brought in and put into your tills. And I always say, for God's sake, use the vouchers, because it's money for nothing, and it will pay towards a membership. So let's try and be positive, please, because the negativity, all it does is drag you down.
Okay, I've just been told by Monty a little story that I'm going to relate to you. So last night, Monty went out with his team, the MDE's team, and believe it or not, 2 guys at the back of the room, whoever they are, recruited the restaurant owner. So my question is, during conference, how many times has anybody been in here gone out for a meal with your district to a different restaurant? And how many times did you recruit the owner? How many of you thought about recruiting the owner? Because I wouldn't have done. I'd have just had a nice meal and thought, man, God, this is a massive bill. But these guys, this is what they do now. And in that fantastic news that they've actually recruited the owner. That's what we do. Thank you. Is there any more questions at all for membership services? You sure? Hold on, Ramji. Can I have a mic? It's at front row. This is on membership services. Yeah. Okay.
It's very bright that light, isn't it?
Imagine where I'm sat.
Mr. Ramji from Yorkshire branch. Just to the membership service regarding, I know there is only 297 lifetime members, and some of the partner members are also lifetime members. Do you contact them for recruiting, or can you pass any information to them regarding stay as a lifetime member, or is it too much cost to the federation?
No, sorry. As mentioned
why I'm saying
sorry.
is, when they become a lifetime members, they don't realize how long they have to reapply for their membership within 3 months, 6 months. So everybody's not reading the rules book. So when they become a non-member, they should realize straight away that what time limit they have got to help to let the federation know that they are becoming lifetime member, how they can help. If you can do a little research, they can experience because they got behind their experience. They can help the recruiting when they sell the shop. They can keep that membership going.
So is your question asking me how do we contact Life members regarding that with information? So when you apply to become a Life member, obviously you've got, for example, if you sell your shop, you've got 6 months to become a Life member. If you've been a continuous membership for 10 years, like you've got a whole 6 months for that section.
They are not reading the rules, so that's why.
Ramji, they can't hear you, you're not talking into the
Oh, no, I
microphone.
can't hear you.
Because then they are not reading the rules properly. They don't know how to become a lifetime members.
Okay.
Once they close the shop, they just cut off with the federation completely.
Well, you've got...
Thank you, Ramji.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you've got every opportunity with your colleagues and your fellow district members, GRAS members. Anyone can, you should be helping your colleagues. If you've got any queries, so you can ring Connect or you can ring the office. All the information about membership is on the website, and I understand not everyone likes to be on the website, but that's fine. But if I had a question, I didn't know the answer, I'd ask Stuart or I'd ask my colleagues. So I really want us all to work together. So if there's any specific question you have, just ring Connect. Because if I wanted to know an answer to a question, I would just ring someone and ask them.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions for membership services? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.